Korea Development Institute of Public Policy and Management, commonly referred to as KDI School of Public Policy, has launched its Spring Admission Scholarship for international students. There are 3 scholarships that are available that you can apply to. The first one is the Global Ambassador Scholarship, and this scholarship is for those who want to apply for either spring or fall, but we will be talking about spring. For spring, you can either apply to do a master's or a PhD, that is either full-time or part-time, and the benefits are full tuition waiver and a monthly stipend for most recipients. But it is important to note that you can only apply for the Global Ambassador Scholarship if you come from the Development Assistance List of countries, commonly known as ODA, that is Official Development Assistance. Here is the list of that countries. You have to go through and make sure your country is on this list before you can apply to study at KDI. These are the countries beginning from Afghanistan right down to Wales and Fortuna. So you have to make sure your country is on this list before you can apply for the Global Ambassador Scholarship. Here are the eligibility. Be an international applicant who meets the qualification to study at KDI, and then the duration is for a master's, that is 1 year, 3 semesters, or a PhD that is of at least 3 years. The second scholarship is the Seoul G20 Global Leaders Fellowship, and this scholarship is for those who want to apply for spring or fall to study at KDI, but we are talking about spring. And then the benefits are also full tuition waiver, monthly stipend, and a round trip airfare. This one has a round trip airfare. And then they say applicant must meet one of the requirements below: be a non-G20 country, must be currently employed in the division head level, over 6 years of working experience in the public sector. And then if you are from a G20 country, you must have at least 1 year of working experience in the public sector, fellowship, employment, etc. Study research experience in field related to Korea studies will have more preference for selection. Here is the list of G20 countries. Make sure that your country is among this list before you can apply for the Seoul G20 Global Leaders Fellowship. But remember that you can also apply if you are from a non-G20 country, but make sure you have at least 6 years of working experience. But if you select this scholarship, it is important to know that KDI school has the responsibility to decide if you will deserve the scholarship or not. They can instead decide to offer you the Global Ambassador Scholarship. Now let's look at the admission schedule as to when you can begin applying to do a master or a PhD at Korea Development Institute of Public Policy and Management. The first one here, it says online application and document upload begins from the 28th of August, and then it will end on the 15th of September 2023. They say the online application will be available on this link. So once it is the 28th of August, you can click on this link to apply. But note that if you are applying for a master's in intellectual property and development, applicants must apply for both KDS and WIPO. We'll talk about that later. If you want to know more, there is this video on the top right hand of the screen where I made a detailed explanation about the KDI school. I talked about the different scholarships that are available and what are the benefits. I'll recommend that you click the link up there on your top right hand screen and watch that video. It is a very important video on KDI scholarship, how to go about getting it. It is also important to know that you would have to provide an online recommendation letter, and they must be submitted on this same timeline from the 28th of August right up to the 15th of September, and it has to be online. And note that once you have submitted your documents, there is no possibility for you to make changes. From there, they would have to begin reviewing your documents from the 16th of September right up to the 2nd of November, and then results will be out from the 3rd of November, and then interview will begin. If you are successful in the document review, know that interview will start between the 13th and the 20th of November. Final results will start coming out from the 1st of December. You can go ahead and read the other timelines. So what are the academic programs that are available for both masters and PhD? So here it says master's program. There is a Master of Public Policy, and then there is a Master of Development Policy, Master of Public Management, Master in Intellectual Property and Development, MIPD. It is important to note that you can either apply for a full-time or a part-time. Full-time will be 4 academic terms, that's 4 semesters, You can go ahead and read the details, and then these are the number of credits that you will need to graduate. These are the different courses that you would take for the different program. So if you decide to do a master in public policy, you would have to study finance right down to regional development and environmental policy. If you decide to do a master in development policy, these are the courses that you would study: sustainable development, international development. And then if you decide to do a master in public management, here these are the programs: public administration and leadership right down to global governance and political economy. And then if you are applying to study a full-time master's in intellectual property and development policy, these are what you would study: intellectual property and innovation policy. It is important that you read all of this. And then for those who would want to do a PhD, there are 2 PhD programs at KDI. There is PhD in public policy, and then there is a PhD in development policy. And these are the course outlines that you would have to study for full-time PhD at KDI. And also note that it is a 3-year program. 3 years, and you have the graduation requirements here. You would need at least 36 credits to graduate. Go ahead and read the academic qualifications. Normally, if you are applying to do a master's, you need a bachelor's degree. For those who would want to do a PhD, you will need at least a bachelor and a master's degree. On this same flyer, you have the scholarships. The scholarships that I talked about, you have the Global Ambassador Scholarship and the G20 Global Leader Scholarship. They have explained it here. And then also, it is important to note that if you are recommended by a partner university, the university that is in partnership with KDI, there are other scholarships that you would have to select. You would have to read this to understand. As far as recommendations is concerned, note that you would have to provide 2 letters of recommendations as explained here. And then English proficiency, this is very important. Here are the different types of English proficiency that are accepted by KDI. These are the standardized English tests that we all know about. But in case you do not have any of this, how do you go about waiving? They say waiver condition. English test report can be exempted if applicant have completed their bachelor's, master's degree entirely instructed in English. So if you can prove that you did your bachelor or master's degree in a university that teaches in English, all you need to do is provide a document that proves that studies were carried out in English. Here it says, but it is important to read this. However, it is important that the medium of instruction is explicitly stated in the official transcript of their bachelor's, master's degree. That is, the official transcript should clearly state that all courses taught at the school were conducted in English. Any other medium of instruction document will not be accepted and will result in automatic disqualification. It is important for you to make sure that in your transcript it is clearly stated there that studies were carried out in English. For example, they've stated it here in this document. They say accepted language of instruction English. It is very important that you make sure it is indicated in your transcript, academic transcript, that studies were carried out in English. They don't want something like this. They don't want any document to prove like this. They want to see it on your transcript. So guys, that's it about the KDI scholarship. There is a lot that you need to read on this document about the grading, about how to go about authenticating your document, about employment criteria. Make sure you read this document before you apply. It is always very important that you make sure you read the application guideline for any scholarship. That is where they've provided every instruction that will help you in succeeding in getting the scholarship to study in any university in South Korea. KDI is a very beautiful school and it is located in an administrative city in South Korea called Sejong. Take your time, read the application guide. There is another document that explains the application system guideline, that is the online application. Make sure you read it. And then there is also a checklist. Make sure you read every necessary document. These are the 2 most important documents application system guideline, application guideline, and also make sure you read employment verification, how to go about verifying your employment, and the application checklist. It is very important that you follow the steps on how to apply if you really want to succeed in this scholarship. Make sure you remember the deadline from the 28th of August. And then most importantly, before I forget, KDI will be having an information session, open house, from the 19th of August at 11 p.m. Korean time. They say participants, prospective applicant for masters or PhD, you might want to attend this information session. It will help you in your application. That being said, guys, I will end the video here, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one. Bye bye.